Hey there, Postal here. So today we're taking out the BVP. Wait a minute. This is the BF-109Z. Not quite to the BVP level. This is a pretty odd duck, though. Considering it comes after the ME-410. A pretty well cherished Tier 6 heavy. And it's before the ME-262, but it's not quite like either of those planes. It certainly has some similarities. You actually get, once you've fully upgraded this plane's guns, you actually get the same guns that you get on the 262. Pretty fast firing. Definitely hard hitting 30mm cannons. The biggest difference is going to be, you might notice that these are spread out pretty darn far. That's because they are. Unlike the 262, the guns are centralized. These are on the wings and on the hub. The hub would not normally be a big deal, other than the fact that the hubs, there's two hubs, it's a split plane, and so that means everything about this plane is kind of split. This is a heavy plane, not a light fighter, so it does not turn like a frickin' light fighter, it turns like a heavy plane. I've actually noticed that this plane tends to hit other planes better when they're going in like a line in front of you, because you're kind of hitting left to right or right to left. A lot of different, just have better opportunity to hit shots. Just go ahead and see what we can do here. As you can see, it's kind of like a shotgun spread there. I'm just gonna move along. Ain't nobody got time for that. We definitely do not have time to sit around. In this plane, the last thing you want to do is try to maneuver. At least versus, 90% of the planes that are out there. You really do just want to hit and move and go and be done. And remember, the mantra with 30mm cannons. When in doubt, you need to aim further out. You need to give more lead, because if you're not giving enough lead, these guns will miss all the damn time. It's honestly better to be aiming a little bit too far out and hoping that it's easier to start aiming back rather than trying to aim further out. If you already start aiming further out, you'll be fine. Alright, so we've got our frickin' bomb here. God dang it, they've got everything in their brother over at the mining facility, and they've already capped it, which is really annoying. Nobody could defend that for half a second, but oh well. I think a lot of it had to do with the zero, maybe. Well, they didn't get a lot of personal points out of it, but he was definitely there killing a lot of different things. There we go. Let's head on down. Zero gonna die. Yes, he is. Plane only has one freaking bomb, so you just kind of toss it out and you keep on moving. Oh, what is the piece of the cart he's in range now? Wasn't even really paying attention to that. He's on fire, so he'll be dead soon. In regards to killing these fine things that are up here. Let's try to get this P-47 first, just because he's kind of a sitting target. And I tend to tap my guns, because these will overheat relatively quickly. Definitely don't want them to be overheating relatively quickly. Flip and dip what is on me. And kind of tagged by these two heavies. Come on. There you go. Oh man, I knew the Yak 9U was aiming for me. I didn't realize I really had too much to worry about being this high up, but apparently I did. That's okay, we had capped that sector. Let's go ahead and spawn here. Let's go over here. Let's see what we can do. An okay battle here, I'd say. Guy's complaining because he's been rammed 3 times. Well, no offense, dude, but you're letting yourself get rammed 3 times. Like, at a certain point, you need to realize that the bots have changed their process, and you're gonna keep getting rammed. Let's try to get this tornado knocked out. Again, trying to aim further out. If I kill him, I kill him. If I don't, well, hopefully I've set him on fire pretty well, and I have. I'm not going to sympathize with you. You're in a Spitfire. You can outturn anything that's trying to ram you. There we go, finally. We've got Bomber over here, do we? See what we can do versus him. So a couple things about this plane, and we'll certainly go over them in more detail in the hangar. But you're pretty low on the hit point pool. Not a heavy fighter. This is definitely, you know, just kind of a buffed up light fighter as far as hit points is concerned. So you definitely want to be aware of that. So here comes the Spitfire. I was tempted to ram him. Probably should have. Now my engines are knocked out. Got one engine knocked out. It's gonna catch up soon if I don't get my other engine knocked out. Back in. There we go. Fast boosting, engaging. Tree. So we'll hit F7. This guy's gonna follow me because I made fun of his ability to freaking avoid rams. Maybe, I don't even know. Anyway, let's see what we can do here. Got him. Let's move along over to this other sector. Crap, they got the 3rd sector, but we should win anyway just because of the mining facility. Let's go ahead and knock out this bomber. And he's going in a line in front of me, so it should be a little bit easier. Yep. Maybe. I say. Oh, somebody else got that kill. How annoying. How annoying. I was going to try to get me a hero in the sky. Oh well. If I can't get this guy knocked out.
Great job today. We'll be waiting for you back.
Still did pretty well, I'd say. Even with our bots that were supposedly out for us to win the game. Anyway, let's head back. Alright, so we were able to get 15 frags there, decent amount of capture points, did a little bit of everything there. And the key for the BF 109Z is to put the plane in a position to win. Once you've fully upgraded these guns, they hit incredibly hard. They're not very accurate at all. And you really need to just kind of go under the assumption that some of your shots are gonna hit, and some of them are not. Meaning that every single time that I was attacking any plane, except for the bombers, but any other plane, I had an escape plan. I was just planning on hitting and running. I was not gonna be hanging around. I was not gonna be turning. I was not gonna be getting frustrated with my missed shots. Whoopity freaking do. You know, the goal was to just get some good chunks in, and if I killed them, all the better. If I didn't, then, you know, then I didn't. To be honest, the majority of the planes there that I killed, that I attacked, I actually killed. I only got 3 assists, meaning that I didn't leave a lot of planes on low health. But my mentality was that that was what was going to happen, that I was going to be leaving them on low health, and I had an escape plan, I had a speed path that I was going to be going down, because you are still in a heavy plane. No matter what this plane looks like, it looks like it's 2 freaking light fighters fused together. It's not a light fighter, remember that. You will get yourself stuck into some pretty terrible situations if you treat this like a light fighter. So please do keep in mind, I did just upgrade this to specialized. Let's go over some of the equipment. I've built this thing for speed. Meaning on my consumables, I have improved mixture control and the engine cooling. The engines do get knocked out from time to time. There's definitely a argument to be made to put bottle for manual engine restart on here instead. I would not, argue with either one of those. I've gone all in for speed. It's not going to be right for everybody. Do the manual engine restart if that's what is best fit for you. As far as the engine is concerned, I have put just a slight bit of maneuverability on here. I can't even talk. And the uprated engine. Just wanted to give myself a little bit of balance when it came to maneuverability. I might change this out to the injection boost system. That helps the efficiency, but it lowers the boost availability. This plane doesn't have a lot of boost. For a heavy plane, it doesn't have a lot of boost. And so I didn't really want to take away from any of the boost seconds. That's why I went with the lightweight power unit. I'm not sure that's the right step. I'm still hesitant about that. However, uprated engine you definitely want to go ahead and get. You also want to make sure that you've got the sight on here. And cockpit armor, who cares? You don't need it. What you do need, though, is more accuracy with these guns, more accuracy with these guns, more accuracy with these guns. Last but not least, I've got an experimental bolt carrier that I've slapped on this bad boy. Helps with the burst length. Helps incredibly with this particular plane. Keep in mind, it also, some of my bonuses here are helping with the cooldown rate and the rate of fire, so that certainly helps as well. But bolt carriers seem to be doing pretty well with this plane. Yeah. GOA used to be my go-to for almost all planes. I'm experimenting or utilizing more often now bolt carriers on high caliber guns. It seems to be helping quite a bit. Could just be in my head. I could be fine either way. Who the heck knows? But I'm doing bolt carriers on this particular plane, and as you can see, it did pretty well for me. As far as consumables are concerned, I'm in a heavy fighter, so I'm using first aid package. I'm not in a turn fighter, so I've got emergency control system on here. And universal ammo, just because universal ammo is always good. As far as my pilot is concerned, it's just a 5-point pilot. So I've got the Marksman 1 and Engine Guru 1. Next up on this plane, I will almost certainly be trying to get Marksman 2. So it'll take me a little while. And then I'll probably be going for aerodynamics expert. That's just me. Anytime that I can get 2 or more equipment slots for the airframe and engine that help the speed or maneuverability, things like aerodynamics expert are incredibly helpful in those kind of situations. For 2 points, that's really impactful. But that'll be way down the road because I still need to get Marksman 2. Marksman 2 with these 30 mil cannons is certainly going to be helpful. That 10% accuracy against an actively maneuvering target is going to be awesome. We'll see how it goes. So let's take a quick look and compare this plane to the other Tier 7 heavies. Alright, so we are comparing the BF-109Z to the other 3 Tech Tree heavy fighters in the game. There's quite a lot of very good tier 7 premiums in the game, heavy fighters, but we're not going down that path. So first thing you might notice is, as far as an airframe is concerned, the BF-109Z is definitely the best at airspeed, maneuverability, and altitude performance across the board. Altitude performance, just barely better than the Key 93, but definitely better than the F7F and the Hornet. Maneuverability, just barely better than the Key 93. In fact, it's probably exactly on par with the Key 93 before I've added equipment to the 109Z. But it's a step above the F7F and Hornet. As far as airspeed is concerned, again, I know I've got this plane specialized, so it's got a little bit of a buff when it comes to airspeed. But it's definitely faster than the Hornet, definitely faster than the F7F and the Key 93. Keep in mind, I've got bombs and rockets on everything that's here. I figure if you've got, I'm to the point in this game that I figure if it's got bombs and rockets to be able to use, unless I'm on some sort of special mission, I tend to keep the bombs and rockets, because there's going to be times where it's going to be helpful to try to flip a sector. And for the love of God, I want to flip sectors. So this is at least a little bit better than each one of those other planes that we just mentioned, even before the additional equipment was added on. And so if it's a little bit better on all those things, you say, oh, well, then it must be because the guns are poor. I mean, that's why the American fighters, P-51H, FJ-1, and F-86, their airframes are so good because it makes up for their poor guns. Well, no, the BF-109Z's guns has the highest rating. Now, keep in mind, they're a little all over the place, quite literally. The Hornet has 4 20mm cannons. Very consistent, centrally located, very easy to get on target, very, very nice guns, to be honest. Long range, hard hitting. But there's only 4 of them, and there's 20mm. The Key 93 has a big old freaking 57mm cannon that shoots out half a mile, and 2 20mm cannons, I think, that go with it. I guess I could click this little button here. Yeah. For like supplemental damage. Doesn't technically do as much damage per second, not at all. Actually, 350, pretty low, but you're able to just snipe at targets from like I said, half a mile away. It feels like. And then the F7F, that plane just has all kinds of firepower. 4 20mm cannons, 4 50mm cannons. 50mm. Holy crap! 50 caliber machine guns. All centrally located, if I remember correctly. Well, no, the 20 mils are on the wings, the 50 cals are on the cowling. But this does put out a lot of damage. But again, none of it is for 30 cal machine guns putting out 700 damage per second. And so this plane, this BF-109Z, has great airframe and great damage output. You're kind of like, well, what the heck's what's going on? Why is this plane so set up so well? Its balancing factor is the fact that its bomb sucks. But that's not enough, right? It can't be enough. You can't say, well, all this stuff's great and you've got a weak bomb. Well, whoopity freaking do. The other thing that really does balance this plane out is its survivability. So if you look at the overall hit points, 360. 360 at tier 7 on a heavy fighter. Give me a break. I think, and I'm going to test this theory out now. Yeah, the ME410 actually has more hit points at tier 6. So you actually go down on hit points when you go to tier 7. So that is your weakness, is you cannot take hits. 360 will not last you very long at all. And that's why when I fly this plane, my mentality is to keep on moving. Use your airspeed. Use your abilities to keep out of danger. I've tried to build this plane for survivability. I mean, it helps save wings and engines and stuff like that, but you still don't have a lot of hit points, and so I would still die quite a bit. My engine and wings might not get knocked out as much. They don't get knocked out all that often anyway, but I mean, it happens. But you can't really build up the hit points too much on this plane because you're starting off with such a low amount. And so, for me, for my playing style, the best tactic was to just avoid taking those hits in the first place. Keep your speed up. Definitely boom and zoom. Focus on the zoom. Save your boost to get away from targets. Be very mindful of the map because you're going to get stuck in tier 8 battles where you might not be able to zoom away. So you definitely need to make sure that you're used to these guns, and you take the steps to helping the accuracy on these guns. Aim further out. The further you aim, well, you don't want to aim so far out, but if you think you're aimed far enough out, you probably still aren't, and you want to aim a little bit further out. It's okay, you've got these shotgun effect 30s, something's going to hit, but if you're aimed too far back, they're not going to hit at all. So that's my assessment of the BF-109Z. I actually used to play this plane before I specialized it. I actually preferred having 20mm cannons on the hubs. Actually helped quite a bit with the accuracy because 20mm are just more accurate. They actually shut out farther as well. They do less damage, of course, but I just felt like I was doing more consistent damage. I finally specialized this plane, which forces you to put all 30mm cannons on here. And I'm actually glad for it. I was using the 20mm as a crutch. Use the 30mm. They do so much more damage. They're actually a better setup for this plane because they knock out wings, they knock out engines, they knock out tails. And that helps you. If you don't kill them, it still helps you get away. And you can come back and live for another day and attack them again. And so use the 30s, just focus on using them in the proper way. I hope this was helpful. This was actually a request by one of my followers. I forget if he requested it on Twitch or if he requested it in my Discord. Either way, I'm posting this video based on that request. I hope this is helpful. I've had a lot of struggles with this plane, but I definitely feel comfortable with it now. I definitely feel I'm taking best advantage of it right now, or at least better advantage of it than I used to previously. And I hope I hope this is helpful in helping those that are wanting to do a little bit better in this plane too. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.